You're listening to Podketeers.
Welcome to episode 404 of Podketeers. In this episode, we talk about pies and pizza and Pie Day with some March Mayhem sprinkled on top. Nature's Wonderland also gets thrown in there. Grogu's possibly becoming the next version of Iron Man. The Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer. Some park stuff, including a blackout on Main Street. Encanto's Mirabel comes to Frontierland. Pirates is closing for renovations. Plus, we provide some initial thoughts on Pixar's latest film, Turning Red. We'd love to hear your thoughts on anything that we talked about in this episode. You can join the conversation over on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Just search for Podketeers, but we'd love for you to join us on our Discord server. Joining the community is super simple. Just head on over to podketeers.com/404 and click on the Discord logo, or you can click on the link in our pinned IG story. March Mayhem is going strong. This year we put Disney snacks up against each other, so make sure that you're joining us on Instagram to vote for your favorites. A very special thank you goes out to an awesome group of listeners known as the FGP Squad, our podcast Fairy Godparents, because it's their support via Patreon that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible. As part of the FGP Squad family, you get some additional perks like exclusive discount codes for Podketeers gear, additional content like the Podketeers after show, and access to our happy hour calls, just to name a few. For more information on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, we invite you to check out podketeers.com/FGP. And as always, a super special thank you goes out to the FGP Squad for their continued support. That's it. That is the intro. If this is your first episode with us, thanks for hanging out. We hope that you enjoy what you hear and that you come back for more. And of course, if you've been hanging with us for some time now, welcome back. Here is episode 404 of Podketeers.
I know.
It's fine. But you know what? Either way, happy Pie Day!
Whee!
Right, it is.
Pie.
Pie is
Pizza
delicious.
pie.
Ooh,
Pizza
I like it.
pie.
Yeah. Hey,
Stuffed-
I like it.
Need
Picasso.
some stuffed crust.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Now we're just Americanizing it.
Stuffed crust.
Okay, Pie Day fact. I heard this theory about pi. It's like 3.14 blah, 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 blah. But that number apparently goes on forever. It has no end. So theoretically speaking, at some point in there, everything from your phone number to your social security number to all these random digits will appear in pi. And not just mine, like every single person in the world's will at some point appear somewhere in pi because there are so many numbers. And I have no idea why, but that blew my mind.
I mean, it makes sense because it's a non-repeating pattern. That's, how math works. It's not like where you divide something into thirds and it's like 0.33333333, and then you just kind of round it up. But that goes on forever too, but it's just a bunch of threes. This one is every other number in no pattern whatsoever.
I don't ever consider myself like a math geek or anything like that. I find certain things, pretty fun. But, I wasn't great at the maths, which is why I'm an artist. I joke about that all the time. But for some reason, I heard that earlier today and I was like, what? That's amazing. And I felt like so much smarter.
You felt like,
and it doesn't make me smarter at all. I just want to make that clear.
You felt like that kid from The Incredibles.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What are you waiting for? I don't know, something amazing to happen.
Spot on.
So yeah, that was my amazing thing that happened today. Happy Pie Day, everyone. If you are not mathematical, yeah, we'll go with that word.
Yeah,
that doesn't
works.
exist, but we'll go with it.
It's a word now. We made it up.
Yeah.
In the Podketeers
and you like
lexicon.
pie, you might as well just have some pie to celebrate. Wait, but you're listening to this 2 days later. I hope you had some pie, because I'm hoping to have pie after we're done recording, because 1, I'm hungry, and 2, pie. I mean,
1/2 of a pie, please. That's
Right.
some math.
I'm going to have 3.14.
pieces of pie. I'll have 3.14 pies.
That one I'll be okay to round up to.
Yeah.
Just give me 3.2.
3.2 pies. One chocolate, one banana, one pumpkin, and then the other one can be, I don't know, dealer's choice.
Dealer's
Right?
choice. Nice.
Pie dealer's choice. You guys a pie deal. That's what they call them, right? At the bakery, they're the pie dealers,
Something like that.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Used car
Yeah.
dealer, pie dealer.
Nice.
I don't know.
This is going to turn into an all foodie episode.
Welcome to the Pie Cast.
We hope you brought some snacks.
Makes sense since we're doing March Madness.
Mayhem.
Dude, I'm so happy that popcorn is still in the competition at this point. Historically speaking, I haven't done well coming out of round one. This time around, we're doing okay. I feel like I got a strong contender. I usually, I don't know. I want to say that I usually go with the underdog. But honestly, when I went Mine Train Through Nature's Wonderland, I didn't think it was an underdog. I thought that was a pretty solid choice.
You know what? It was an underdog choice. It was. Should have gone a little further. Sorry, it didn't.
You got to think what the people are that are voting on Instagram. It's the people that remember Mine Trains Through Nature's Wonderland or that care about it might not be the same people that are on Instagram.
That's true.
Because
Yeah,
it was,
okay.
100 years ago that
I'll take it.
Oh.
Wow.
I mean, Heyzen never got to ride Mine Train Through Nature's Wonderland, so...
So that makes me almost 100.
No, you never got to, so
Never
you're
got to
younger
ride it,
than
so it doesn't
100.
count.
But I'm almost 100.
Back in my day, we had donkeys, and they went across the path, and the train had to stop. There were the sister waterfalls. Anyway.
Hey, you know what? It's funny because we were just one of my kids is doing an assignment for school about their favorite vacation that they've ever taken. And so he decided to write about the time that we went up to San Francisco and we went to the Walt Disney Family Museum and, the Charles Schulz Museum and everything. Primarily because he really wanted to talk about the Jelly Belly factory, and the other two things just kind of made it into his report. But while he was talking about it, I asked him, or while he was trying to remember, I said, hey, do you want to see some of the photos that I took? Because maybe it'll help spark some memories for you. Because, it was a couple years ago now. So, fired up Lightroom, and we're looking through all these photos, and then we get to the Disneyland model that's at the Walt Disney Family Museum. His eyes lit up.
Aw.
And so he's looking at this model. He's like, Dad, that thing looks so awesome. I know, right? And so we're talking about all the different exhibits. We're talking about the different points. And I'm telling him about the chicken of the sea pirate ship. And we're talking about how Dumbo moved places and how the teacups move places and all the attractions. And then we're talking about Mine Train Through Nature's Wonderland. And we're talking about those stalagmites and stalactites. And then we're talking about how Big Thunder took over. And then I saw the waterfall, Cascade Peak. And I have to tell you that aside from the fact that I never got a chance to ride Nature's Wonderland, which for me, trains, I love the whole aesthetic, but the Rainbow Caverns really was, the showstopper for me. And I know that today, if they brought back the Rainbow Caverns, it would look tenfold better than what it did back then, right? LED technology and everything would blow it out of the water. But at the time, like using the black lights and everything and the way that they set it up, for me was huge, right? I love that. And so we were talking about that area, but I feel like the thing that I really would have wanted to see was Cascade Peak. I don't know what it is. I love waterfalls. I love being in nature. I love going where there's a lot of vegetation. And if there happens to be a waterfall, I feel like everything is complete for me.
Aw.
So yeah, I feel like that element of the Rivers of America is quite possibly where you would find me either staring or sitting on Tom Sawyer Island so that I could just sit there, listen to the waterfall, enjoy the ambient sounds. And I would probably never want to do anything else. That's how much I love them. Aside from a train, I love me a good waterfall. And when you combine the two, whew.
Ooh. So as you're talking about that, the one thing in my head that's going through is I'm standing on Tom Sawyer's Island, and I'm facing I'm facing the river, and here comes the train, and let's say Disney, throw it out into the universe. Disney decides, hey, let's bring waterfalls right where the river is, a little bit past the other ones. And as the train is going by, they start to light up. And you can watch it. Yeah, I know. This is what happens when you're tired. Things just pop up in your head.
You don't have to be tired. That's like prime armchair Imagineering stuff. Like I
Yeah.
can tell your brain is already gearing up for the episode when we finally do it again. So,
Right.
yeah. I'm for it.
You have to remember
love that idea.
what TLC taught us, though, Heyzen, Melissa.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Listen to the rivers, right?
Just stick to the rivers and the streams that you're used to.
This is a bunch of scrub talk.
No scrub, Larry.
Apparently you're not supposed to scrub or something like that. I guess it chafes your skin. I don't know.
That's why I use a loofah.
Damn daylight savings time messing with all of us.
Well, it's an hour earlier than we normally would record.
But is it an hour earlier? Because it's really an hour later.
Yeah.
Today we all became time travelers. Yesterday, I guess, we all became time travelers because at one point it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. And then all of a sudden you blink and it's like 2:01 a.m. and you're like, what the hell just happened here?
Right.
And apparently that is when you entered the simulation. Dun, dun, dun!
What is
Yep.
time?
Time isn't real. Neither are birds.
TikTok is correct. We are living in a simulation.
Oh, man. Down the hole we went.
I don't even know where we are right now.
The red
What-
pill
what
or
are
the
we
blue
talking
pill,
about?
Heyzen?
Right? I feel like I took both pills and somehow like my brain is like caught
You got
in
the purple
between
pill.
both
I
worlds.
feel like we're
Yeah.
on the pie train right now. Just infinite numbers.
Whoa! That's where we were. We were
Yeah.
talking about eating pizza pie.
Good treats. That's right.
And
No,
now
we
No,
were
it's
on
trains.
March Madness is what we
and
were
March
on.
Oh, yeah.
Madness, right? We were
March
giving
Mayhem.
an update. Popcorn. Okay, our brains still work. We
Yeah.
did
We
this.
figured
okay,
we got back on
It's
track. On the
There we
train
go.
track.
Boom! Nailed it. We did it. We
Good
did it.
job.
High fives,
Anyway,
high fives all the
yeah.
way around. High
Clap,
fives
clap,
all the way
clap.
around. We did it.
Woo.
We did it.
Thanks for hanging in there, one listener, at this point.
Well, everybody else has turned it off.
Okay. All right. So March Mayhem currently going on right now. It's going strong. Still rooting for Popcorn. I don't know what I'm gonna do if Popcorn ends up getting knocked out in the next round. We got a pretty strong week 2 coming up, as far as I can tell here. Obviously, by the time that you're listening to this episode, if you're listening on launch day, we've already been through a couple of matchups. But we had the Ronto Rap going up against Tiger Tails, not Tigger Tails from Pooh's Corner, but Tiger Tails from Bengal Barbecue. We got the Turkey Leg versus the Chimichanga, Beignets versus Candy Apples, and then to round out the week, we have Churro versus Corn Dog,
Oh.
and Mickey Ice Cream Bar versus TBD at this point, because we haven't gotten to the matchup that's going to go up against Mickey Ice Cream Bar this Friday. So it's a pretty exciting week. It's going to be interesting to see what Churro versus Corn Dog does.
It's churro all the way, baby. Churro
I'm
all the
still
way.
torn between churros and Dole Whip, and man, this next matchup with the corn dog, that's hard.
I want the corn dog to win, but the churros, it's hard to turn that down. It's almost like infinite.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be a hard one, man.
But it'll be interesting when that bracket goes down, though. Once that one's off the board, that's when things are going to get real, like Melissa's talking about. It's like hearts will be broken, decisions
Yeah.
will be made,
Yeah.
taste buds will be enthralled. Stay tuned.
We're recording this a couple days in advance, so I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel
I
like
don't know. I think Ronto Rap's gonna win.
you think Ronto Rap's going to win?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the numbers right now, and it's pretty ahead.
Okay.
Told you. the Ronto
So that means that it's looking like it's going to be Mickey Ice Cream Bar versus Ronto Wrap, if that's the case. And then at that point, I feel like the Mickey Ice Cream Bar is going to blow the Ronto Wrap out of the water.
Whoa. Back the train, the 314 train. The pie train. Here's my argument on this. Ice cream, yes, you could eat it in the winter and you could say it's good then, but the major crowd is there for the summer for ice cream bars. Mickey, yes, it's cool, but it's like summer's when that's the hot hitter. Now, Ronto Wrap is all year. You could go cold, you could go warm, and you're getting a satisfying treat any time of the day. Not necessarily like it's too early for ice cream. You can't get ice cream before 11 because those things aren't available yet. So, folks, you hear me? Just putting it out there. This has been a message provided by Ronto Wrap from the Galaxy's Edge.
Okay. So what Larry's saying, what I'm getting out of this is we need breakfast ice cream. Is what I'm getting out of this.
That's kind of what I got out of it too.
Okay.
Breakfast ice cream.
If we had like a French toast ice cream,
yeah, that sounds good.
I
like
think
cinnamon roll ice cream.
Get my ideas away.
Yeah,
I mean, I think we got that covered. Maybe that's what we should armchair Imagineer snacks.
Breakfast.
Start Mod Podging everything into
Right.
So yeah,
vision board.
So I mean, it's looking strong for. I have to say it, Larry. I'm sorry, but it's looking strong for the Mickey Ice Cream Bar. I feel like I might be the only one on the planet that feels like this, but the Ronto Wrap isn't good, y'all. It's
killing Tiger Tails. It's killing the Tiger Tails.
Because it's a Tiger Tail. It's a piece of bread. It's like,
Who knows?
I mean, look, honestly, if I had to choose, I'll tell you who I voted for. I voted for the Ronto Wrap because of the two, the Ronto Wrap is actually better. So I get it. But if it's up against the Mickey Ice Cream Bar, come on now. No contest. I feel like I've just had enough bad experiences with the Ronto Wrap that I'm kind of like over it at this point. I know that others have had it and they're like, this is so good. It's got good flavor. I've had it multiple times and it's dry and doesn't have enough sauce. I know that that's a me problem, but because it's a me problem, I cannot endorse anything Ronto Wrap right now. And I almost voted for the Tiger Tail because I was so against the Ronto Wrap. But I figured, you know what? I'm going to be objective here. If we're talking about flavor, I'm going to have to give it to the Ronto Wrap between the two. So look, I feel like I'm being fair when it comes to that.
Yeah, I see it. I'm putting it out there. It's just crazy.
Just you wait is what Larry's saying.
Right?
Just you wait, Heyzen.
Watch, I'm going to be
Ronto
eating my words
Wrap
when the damn Ronto Wrap
stands
makes it to the championship.
Yeah, it's going to be churro versus Ronto Wrap.
Oh, no.
What a crazy matchup that would be.
Oh, man. Man, we had so many things to talk about today, and we've spent all this time talking about food, which is good. I mean, I love talking about food, but...
I got it. I figured it out right here, Heyzen. Okay, so where do Ronto Wraps, or where are those located?
Batu.
Okay, and Batu is in the universe of...
Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, but like the cinematic
Star
universe.
Wars.
Yeah, and then...
The Mandalorian.
Yeah, Mandalorian, and then what's the new thing, Mandalorian kind of thing that's going to be on Disney Plus?
Baby Yoda becoming Iron Man.
Okay, that's fine.
Are we not talking about that yet?
That's fine. That's one. That works. That's not where I was going, but that's fine.
I know people are saying that's Grogu.
So why don't you sent that in the text message, and I think you need to explain this a little more. You got some splaining
Okay,
to do,
okay.
I have no idea what
we
you're
can
talking
totally get
about.
into that, but I know where you want to go. I know where you want to go with
That's fine.
this.
Is it a toothbrush? Is it a tissue dispenser or something from Best Buy?
No. So here's what's happening. There is this rumor / possible connection to the next season of The Mandalorian. Mando made it into the Book of Boba Fett way more than he was supposed to. We got a lot of Grogu in there, and the last several episodes of the Book of Boba Fett were really kind of a precursor to the next season of The Mandalorian. It's really what it turned into, right? And according to what I've been reading, again, kind of a rumor. I can't confirm it. If it's true, then this is so freaking cool. But apparently, remember in The Mandalorian, when Mando was off trying to find Grogu, he went and he just kind of took down, I forgot where they were, but he took down this base with IG-11, the bounty hunter droid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that droid, remember how it got killed in battle?
Mm-hmm.
It got shot down and everything? Okay, apparently what's going around is that in the new season of The Mandalorian, IG-11 is back. But he's going to be covered in Beskar steel, and Grogu is going to sit inside of him, Iron Man style, and control IG-11 and go to battle with Mando.
Whoa.
I know!
Whoa.
I mean, what it sounds more like to me, not to like burst the bubble or anything, but it sounds more like in Men in Black when the guys, the face opens up and the little guy's in there. That's what it reminds me of.
That's exactly came to my head. So.
Look, I don't care what you compare it to. He's Iron Man to me now.
Okay. No, he's Beskar Man.
He's Beskar. Beskar Man, exactly.
Beskar baby.
That's right.
There you go.
He may not be a billionaire, but he's still a little playboy, that little Grogu.
Well, that Beskar's worth a pretty penny,
Uh-huh.
so.
Well, maybe he is then. Who knows?
Beskar baby.
So anyway, that's really what I had to get off my chest. I'm super excited about that. I hope that turns out to be true. I feel like I'm more excited about everything Mandalorian and the latest trailer that dropped, which is what you were alluding to just a little while ago, Andrew. And that is...
Oh, that's a cue for me as he's pointing at me going, the Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Wow, nailed it. I
That's
love
it.
it. Super funny to me that it feels like they're wrapping everything back into episode 4, 5, and 6 somehow. I'll leave that part of the speculation till after. But thoughts on the trailer, and what more can you tell me? Because I'm confused. Like, did we see Vader in the trailer?
I think this is a Larry's domain. I think Larry needs to explain more because I got so confused. I thought it was Darth Vader, and then it's not because it says right on like IMDb that it's not him. But I also didn't watch any of these Clone Wars things, so I think Larry is probably more apt to explain this trailer.
Well, I mean, just for anyone that's hanging in there, I mean, I want to make sure we get everyone's thoughts in there. But the guy that you're seeing there is a part of the Inquisitors group, which is exactly what Andrew's saying. The Clone Wars time is somewhere where you would have saw that. And I think it is easy to get it confused because he has that same appearance like the Empire where they have like the dark clothing, but it's like armor body kind of, and his skin is like bald and all white. But the difference there is that if it was Hayden Christensen or aka Darth Vader, he's a little bit more burnt. I think you got to remember he's got a lot of scarring from all the issues that would have happened. But I guess you could have totally got it confused because I know when you see it, it happens really quick. Cool thing about the Inquisitors, though, they're pretty much like, if you want to look at it and you don't want to look too much into their history, just think of them as basically Darth Vader's first backup crew. Like they're the crew that, and everything that Anakin did when he was betraying basically the Jedi and taking down all the Jedis that were young and old, they stood behind that being like, yeah, we come after Jedis, which leads into this trailer, which I want to get more of your thoughts on. Melissa, go ahead.
I think I'm just excited because there are characters that I'm not familiar with, and that's the exciting part. I love having to learn someone that's new and figuring out, okay, who are they? Where is this? What's connected? But the music took me. Just that John Williams touch. Oh my gosh.
Preach.
It's yes. And then I lost it when we were just talking about it. Duel of the Fates plays, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is to me is like when the Avengers theme plays, like that song. Gosh, I wish like that could be like that one pumped up song that I could play and be like, yeah, I could do this. But to have that mixed in, it's like, wait, we're getting the first trilogy, we're getting a little bit of the second trilogy, we're getting mixes, and I appreciate that. So it's interesting the direction that they're going with, and just the style alone is just, I'm a sucker for like if you're gonna do villains, like that whole dark side really well, and they do, is just beautiful. So they're paying a lot more attention to Obi-Wan. That's what I think, and it looks great. I'm just excited to see it, like, when it starts. But the music, whew, I'm so happy we got something else. We're getting two things with John Williams, so good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's have you, speaking of Duel of the Fates, this is completely unrelated. Have you seen the like misheard lyrics of Duel of the
Yes.
Fates video?
Very funny.
If you haven't seen it, look that up. Just like Duel of the Fates sing along, or I think it's called, or something.
It's
It was
really
very
good.
funny.
It's funny.
Anyway, yeah, the trailer, I was very confused. I thought we were looking at Darth Vader for a bit, but that's okay. Then what am I looking at here? You got a little prequel nod with Uncle Owen is played by the same actor from episode 3, same guy, and yeah, you get to see. Larry pointed out the possible Darth Vader's chair in one of the scenes. That was cool, but also you get to see a guy with like a data disc thing on his back, which Larry then told me was not a data disc, but like a spinny lightsaber deal, which is kind of cool. But yeah, there's also a droid that reminds me a lot of Ace from Star Tours.
Oh,
You know,
that's a good
it's
draw.
not him, but it looks like Ace from Star Tours.
Sure does. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this. Really interested to see how Hayden Christensen is made up as Darth Vader. If it's going to be just helmet all the time, or if we're going to be seeing, you know, face and what's gonna go. I'm assuming since it's Hayden Christensen's credited and not James Earl Jones, will be getting unmasked, unhelmeted Darth Vader. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, I'm excited for it.
yeah. I feel like if you don't know anything about Star Wars and you haven't taken the time to watch Rebels or Clone Wars, or don't know a lot about episode 4, 5, and 6, which honestly I feel like I was really the last one on Earth that hadn't done that yet, you're still going to be able to enjoy this. And I feel like you're just going to be able to enjoy it because of what's being presented and how it's being presented. And the John Williams music, I think, adds a lot to how that action comes, you know, on the screen. I'm excited because the little that I do know about Rebels and Clone Wars, especially Rebels, I guess in this case, I feel like is gonna begin to pay off even more. Because I didn't really watch them all. Like, my kids watched them, and I kind of caught some of them with them. But I know that somehow, like, there's like this lineage of brothers and sisters that are all numbered, like the 5th brother and the 7th sister, and like they're all part of the Inquisitors, right? And they all answer to Vader. And I think we saw at least a couple of them in the trailer. The 7th sister was the one that was tasked with killing Ahsoka Tano in Rebels, right?
Yep.
So yeah, so I like, for me, like, this is all starting to piece together, and I'm kind of excited about it because it's all kind of making sense. I don't think if you haven't seen them, it's going to hinder your experience. I think it's just going to be action packed, and it's going to be just a fun ride all the way through. But considering that it's in May, I guess if you wanted to binge Rebels so that you kind of knew what was kind of going to be happening, it's a good time to do it, because you're going to understand a lot more of these characters and, you know, how they became Jedi hunters and everything. It was all the Jedi that survived Order 66, right? That's what they were originally tasked with.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this. I actually feel like I'm more excited about this one than I was about Book of Boba Fett. And I was pretty damn excited about that one.
It's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like,
Yeah, I was about to say,
like,
this is
yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
It's Obi-Wan
This is-
Kenobi. This is, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like everybody's like, okay, Star Wars TV series, everybody's like, okay, it's Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's like the ones that they're always like, oh, Yoda, Obi-Wan Kenobi. So we got Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. What can you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Heyzen too. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to upsell and then it becomes a fallout. I have full faith. Me watching as a Star Wars fan, I'll get in my deep dive of the trailer. Immediately when we open that scene and you start hearing Ewan McGregor reprise his role, boom, I'm locked in, and that's probably one of the best add-ons from 4, 5, and 6 episodes is that he treasured that role, Ewan McGregor, so much that he wanted to embed the Obi-Wan Kenobi character. And it's like, I have no doubt that it's taking time because he treasures doing this role. He wanted to do it. He never said he didn't want to. He just had to keep it under wraps. So I think, yes, it doesn't rely on him. He's not the writer. But I think he knows himself being like, okay, this is like bringing in, like I talked about, George Lucas, someone that's a part of the bigger Star Wars thing and making that feeling to come to life. What made me get hyped up immediately is that it sounds like he's talking to the Force. And I'm like, dude, if he's talking to the Force and he's learned that trick, then that opens the door for like anybody making a cameo. Because that could just think of Luke when we were watching the last movies. Just think of Rey and, just interlocking that voice. That can open. I mean, deep down inside, I want to see Qui-Gon. I want him to come back through the Force, and I want him to be like, I got a specific set of skills. Not just and I want another, this is going to sound crazy, I want another Darth Maul fight. It could happen. This technically lines it up still in the timeline for that to happen with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes, please.
He's not dead no more.
He's not. Yeah. This is what I'm looking for that we're gonna get. I hope. That's the chills I got from the music, the Duel of Fates, and then last but not least, we've been talking about the Inquisitors, but that base, if you watch the trailer that they're flying into, that just gives me total Empire vibes. Loving it. Because think about Rise of Resistance. When you walk on, you feel like you're getting on like a part of the Death Star, right?
Mm-hmm.
This has that same vibe. Boom. I'm like, yes, killed it. Layout great. And I'm going to just put it out there. I think I've been waiting for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series because I just like Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's kind of like the guy that I got used to doing it. Although all kudos to the original Obi-Wan. But still, I think I'm on it.
Alec Guinness.
Yeah, go ahead, say it, sir.
Sir Alec Guinness.
Sir Alec Guinness, the knight.
Did you guys realize the music when this Obi-Wan comes out? It's the same music from when old man Ben Kenobi made his debut.
It's like
They use the same music.
Oh, that little.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's cool.
it wasn't like shish kebab.
No, corn on the cob, remember?
Corn on the cob. That's
Yoda, Toyota.
You gotta watch the video, guys. That's the one they're mentioning.
I did do a real quick look on IMDb, and it's a total of 4, as far as I've seen, people returning from the prequels. Besides, so it's Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader, Joel Edgerton as Owen Lars, and Bonnie Pies. I don't know. I'm just gonna screw up her last name as Baru Lars. So a nice little the fitting everybody in. Kind of keeping that. George Lucas picked these people to be these movies, and these are the people. So it's kind of like Mickey Mouse or whatever. You got we got the people. They're coming through. You got to get them back. Mickey Mouse, the voice of Mickey Mouse is the voice of Mickey Mouse, except when it's not, I guess now. But so yeah, it's kind of cool that they're bringing those characters over. It's just nice to see familiar faces, and people are. The prequels are not as hated as they once were. For some reason, I like all the Star Wars movies, so they got a bad rap for a while. So I don't know.
Now I heard you say I want to see another Darth Maul fight, and I'm thinking, damn, that'd be so cool to see another one of those. And I'm trying to think okay,
spider legs.
Yeah, in my head,
droid.
I see Darth Maul, cool staff, red head, spikes in the head, right?
Yep.
That's
cool
his
staff,
general.
spikes
Yeah,
in
I'm trying to remember. And at first I thought Darth Sidious, but Darth Sidious is actually Palpatine, right? He's Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah,
technically.
Palpatine. Mhm.
Okay.
Do it.
All right. Sorry.
Just
I'm
do
playing.
it.
Look, right now, when it comes to all the characters and everything that's happening in Obi-Wan, my head looks like one of those giant cork boards with like string
Oh, yeah.
and
It's
like
like the-
pins all over
Like
the
from
place
Sunny
connecting it.
what is it? Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he's got the board.
Yeah.
Charlie.
That's what it looks like in my head connecting all of this. So where I'm trying to fit this in the timeline then. Like where does it fit into the Star Wars general timeline? Because at the beginning of the trailer, I see him looking down at a young Anakin playing, right?
Luke.
No, it's
That's
Luke.
actually Luke.
Oh, that's
Luke.
Luke that he
There's
sees.
your
Yeah.
catch up. A lot of people are doing that too.
okay.
I'm glad you clarified that. Yeah,
Because
folks,
it's
that's
him.
Luke.
It's oldish, middle-age Obi-Wan Kenobi. So he's like, what, in his 50s
He's
or
watching
whatever.
over Luke,
Yeah.
the last hope.
Mm-hmm.
There's your
So this
hope.
is probably what, like say 10 years, 8
Yeah.
to 10 years before.
10
So
years,
this has to
exactly.
be like
Is it?
before or
A New
after
Hope?
episode 3? No, it can't be 3
Yeah,
because he
this
was
Yeah.
no, but no.
This is after 3, because Anakin's already Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, and because at the end of 3, Luke and Leia are born in
Right.
3, right?
Right.
Exactly. They're
So
just babies.
this is like 10. He's like 10. Like that's like 8 years later or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how good they did it to make you think it does look like Anakin when you see that moment, because that would be his son.
Yeah.
right?
But that's
So-
that's the moisture farm. That's where the blue milk is, and their Uncle Owen, Aunt Beru.
Got it. Okay.
go.
All right. It's all piecing together. So that
So
means
this
that
is where
we
you
can't
get
Mando
Spider.
and Grogu.
No, but you can get Spider.
Spider Darth Maul.
Spider Darth Maul from Solo in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
You could get some. That's what I'm saying. I'm looking for some cameos, even if it means bringing him speaking with the Force. I think that even opens the door bigger. Like, who else could we see? We don't even know.
I mean, you could
Right.
see Grogu because he's hundreds of years old already, or whatever. or he's like
Good
80,
point.
however old he is, so you could
True.
see him.
Or we could see the birth of Grogu.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Okay.
Whoa. Yeah.
Well, I don't know because he's too old already.
Well, yeah, but think
I
about
think he's
from
like canonically
from episode
like
3,
70.
if this is happening. Oh, okay. Well, the Mandalorian is happening after episode 5 or 6 at this point.
Oh, let's Google it.
That's a good question.
When does the Mandalorian take
It
place?
has to
Thank
take
you,
after.
Google.
It has to be after 4 or 5. Definitely
9 after the Battle of Yavin, 5 years after Return of the Jedi,
Jedi.
and 9 years
Okay.
after A New Hope. So it's after the original trilogy.
Right.
Okay, so then at that
3, 4,
point,
5.
we're a decade or so in. If you work your way backwards, we're several decades out. And Grogu was what, 80 years old at that point?
Grogu is 50.
Oh.
Theoretically,
At
we
the-
could see the birth of Grogu.
No,
Wow.
but this is no because this takes place 10 years before. So he would be 30 years old already.
Great googly moogly. Okay. All
I'm a
right.
genius in France.
All right. You know what? Either way, if we do get to see
Sorry to burst
baby
your bubble.
Grogu, baby Grogu,
Even baby.
even babier Grogu, that's going to be the name on the box. Even babier Grogu. Or even babier Yoda, I guess.
with spit up action.
So would it be crazy to say that we could see Yoda
That's what I'm leading to.
talking
Thanks,
about
Melissa.
Grogu?
Yep.
Something to connect.
Something about the Force
Yeah.
to connect to other movies. There's so much that
It
you can do.
binds
in
us.
to make Andrew's Day, and maybe there's a storyline out there from a series of Star Wars way back with Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's this time period that explains how he's protecting Luke. And there is a good chance we might see tactical Chewbacca.
Yeah,
Santons
he's so cool.
does make a appearance in one of those series as he's trying to fight him off. So there's always that chance for Andrew to see tactical Chewbacca come back. Someone from
yeah.
the Mandalorian series.
Maybe in this
Technically.
series, is where we see Jedi Jar Jar Binks.
Oh.
Oh, jeez.
Oh man.
I'm just going to fly right past that one.
Oh.
I'm excited about everything else. So I'm going to put it out in the universe. This probably isn't going to happen, but I'm just going to verbalize it and hope that the Star Wars, whatever, somehow make this happen. But like you said, Mel, we see Yoda, okay? We see Yoda holding Grogu saying, "You will be the biggest Jedi, you will," or whatever, right? Whatever Yoda says. I don't know what he says.
Right.
He speaks in riddles. That's what
another
Luke
father story.
Right? Yeah, it's another father story.
Right.
Yes, it is. Or maybe he's his grandfather or something. Or like, "You are the last of our
Could
kind.
be.
You are. You will take on the Jedi, and you will take on the Force, and whatever." Right? We see something happen. I just really wanted to talk like Yoda. Okay, so we see him pass it on. He teaches Grogu. And so Grogu knows everything. Like, he's like full-blown like Jedi. But somehow he blocks it out of his mind because of what happened in Order 66. He's just a baby, right? Even baby or Yoda now with spit-up action.
Some ice and hits his head. And
yeah, so now he messes with his own head. He's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And so he blocks it out and forgets how. And so Luke is all like, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to teach you how to, like, release the Force. The Force is strong in you." But little does he know that Grogu, so much of a better Jedi than Luke.
It's always been kind of a backstory in Star Wars when the master becomes the learner. Because they've got more midi-chlorides or whatever. That's a deep dive, folks. If you go back to
your midi-chlorians and the and the wills and all this stuff. George Lucas want to talk about the wills. The wills. That's that's like anyway.
Well, I just added two more pins to my board.
You have to look up the wills.
Okay.
Yes.
I just added two more pins to my board. All right.
Wills over here.
I need to get more red
but
string.
watch it. If you haven't watched it, which I don't know, millions have watched it. It is a hype video for Obi-Wan Kenobi series for sure. And it's got all the feels I feel like that Star Wars should have when you're about to watch the movie almost. But it's a series, so it's really cool.
Nice. How many episodes do we know? Is it going to be 6 episodes?
Six. That's
according
as far as I
to
understand.
the internet, limited series 6.
Nice.
So they just made a really long movie.
That's what I was about to say. Feels like a movie.
I'm for it.
It's like a 4-hour movie.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm for it. Let's do it. All right. Well, we had tons of other stuff to talk about, but I guess the Star Wars talk went on much longer, and I'm glad it did because I feel like it cleared up a lot of stuff that I was thinking about. And look, if we see Grandpa Yoda, pass on the Force of the Jedi to baby Grogu now with spit-up action, even babier Grogu. That's awesome.
Even babier.
I love it. Well, before we move on, I do want to remind you that this episode of Podketeers is brought to you by a fantastic group of listeners known as the FGP Squad, our podcast Fairy Godparents, and it is their support that helps out with a monthly contribution via Patreon. If you want more information on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, you can head on over to podketeers.com/FGP for more information. There you will find a link to our Patreon, a list of some of our top contributors, and a little bit of information about what the FGP Squad is. If you have any questions, you can always hit us up. We'll be happy to answer any questions you might have, but being a part of the FGP Squad family does get you some additional perks like access to our happy hour calls, additional content like the Podketeers After Show over on Patreon, random mailings, gifts, discounts on Podketeers gear, all sorts of stuff. But again, any questions, feel free to hit us up. And of course, to all of the members of the FGP Squad, we just want to send a huge thank you for your continued support. Let's keep it in the park. Since we were on Batu, let's take it over to Main Street. Apparently, there was a blackout on Main Street the other day at Disneyland. It's always weird when these types of things happen. And look, it's the real world, right? Like, stuff like that happens. But I think when it breaks the illusion of being in a Disney park where all of a sudden you're walking out, it's late, and then only the emergency lights are on, or like the fire from the post, the gas
lamps.
post, the gas lights are on. Everything else is super dark and it's kind of freaky looking. I get it. It feels like a scary movie. But eventually the lights came back on. I don't know if it was the backup generators that eventually came back on or if they restored power. But I was watching all of these posts happen on TikTok and on Instagram, and it was kind of freaky looking. I will admit,
that's crazy.
It was kind of freaky looking to see Main Street USA so dark, and more importantly, to look down Main Street and the castle was completely dark. There was nothing on the castle.
If you think that's creepy,
happened.
you should do it on October then.
Ooh.
Oh.
There you go. And
To
it's
do it on
easy.
purpose? We just keep giving them good ideas.
I know. And you know what? You don't have to spend a thing, Disney. You just turn off the lights. That's it.
Yeah, you're saving money.
Yeah.
Bob Chapek's all about saving money. Was this him just like he didn't pay the power bill in time? He's like, we'll see how
No.
far I can get without paying it this
boy.
month.
Or
And so,
or he heard about those rolling blackouts in California. He's all like, how many millions
Yeah.
could we save if we just do a rolling blackout in DCA and Disneyland for just a few seconds?
just
How much? I'm curious. How much do you think they would save having no power on for 1 or 2 minutes?
Jeez.
For whole park, like
Whole park,
resort
yeah,
wide,
resort-wide.
or I'm
I
gonna
don't know
say,
if I want to make that because
let's say 1 minute. Is that what you say?
Yeah,
1 minute.
1
you
minute.
think 1 minute? I'd say their minute consumption of power is $10,000
Per minute?
Yeah, at least.
No way.
For the whole resort? Yeah, I mean,
That's
Okay.
nuts.
it's gotta be. Yeah, I mean, just think about how many like buildings and like it's like a whole neighborhood,
Yeah.
like a whole city, like couple blocks. And
We're
then
just
when
talking
you
about
have-
lighting. We're not talking about AC.
No, everything.
Like everything.
everything.
Just if you were to
Everything
cut
shuts
power.
down.
So
AC, the lifts, the motors, and everything. I don't know what the power rate is there, but it's got to be a lot.
So I did a quick Google search, and a
Uh-huh.
paper came up for this course, some work that was submitted for coursework for Stanford University back in March of 2019. And I guess it was part of an assignment maybe that a student was doing, but apparently it currently costs Disney parks over, and I'm reading directly from this paragraph here. It says, currently Disney parks cost over $10 billion a year to run and used over 1 billion kilowatts of energy, resulting in a bill of over $100 million a year.
Ouch.
100
Huh.
million. Let's see.
100 million divided by
Divide
365.
that
No
by
math. Let's go back to pi.
365.
Right? I'm not
And
doing the
then-
math.
I'm sorry I
And then-
brought it
hold on.
up.
I'm doing this now. Okay. And then we divide that by 24 hours in a day, and then you divide that by
60 minutes.
60 minutes.
You are awesome, Andrew, because none of us want to do this.
$273,888
Wow.
a minute. But that's
That's if they're operating at 24 hours.
well,
though.
that's also wording sounded like that was Disney parks in the United States, so I think that's Walt Disney World
Yeah.
and
Oh.
Disneyland.
So we might
So-
want to get it down. I was going to say about 100.
So
to
if we
90 Gs.
divide that by, let's see, 4.
It would have to be 6 parks.
Divide it by 6,
Yeah.
and then multiply it by 2. That gets us $91,296
$10 grand.
a minute.
no,
90
almost
grand.
100. Okay, it's almost 100.
Almost 100,000. So I was
100 Gs.
All right.
I was underestimating. It's probably, I bet you it's closer to something like 50 grand a minute for Disneyland, because just Walt Disney World's so much bigger. We're not taking into account a lot of stuff that they have there.
But don't they have a lot of
But
solar
they
energy
also have
because of
solar
the big
farms,
Mickey?
big solar Mickey, plus
Yep,
a lot of
they do.
buildings have solar. Yeah, so yeah, it's a lot of money for. They saved like 50 grand when the Main Street blackout happened.
Well, there you go. Maybe it was planned.
How-
Who knows?
Maybe the price of churros will go down. It's like coughing. and choking
Okay.
on water.
Okay. It'll go down. Okay. We must be
That's
living
what
in
happens at
Fantasyland.
Disneyland.
Okay.
Hey.
Right?
No, because the churros are $5 in Fantasyland.
I know. But
I don't know.
anyway. So, yeah, Blackout on Main Street. Super crazy to see. You can search for it. There's a couple of videos up. Since we're in the parks, Pirates of the Caribbean is going to be closing indefinitely. Looks like they're going to be doing some refurbishment to the attraction. Looks like they filed a bunch of permits for the HVAC and for plumbing and all sorts of stuff. I'm not exactly sure there's going to be any changes to the actual attraction or to any of the pirates, where if they open, we're going to see a brand new pirate or we're going to see pirates missing. Who knows what's going to happen? But as far as it looks like they are upgrading a lot of the just general components of the attraction itself. Indy's going to be closing for a few days as part of that. Looks like we're going to be getting better flow of traffic in New Orleans Square in preparation for Fantasmic coming back soon. So I'm sure that the closing of Pirates is also going to account for that, and there's going to be some flow work that's going to be done at that point. Matterhorn's going to be closing soon. So lots of attractions going to be closing. If you have an opportunity to go, make sure that you enjoy them before they begin to close. I think as of the recording of this episode, Pirates of the Caribbean has been closed already. The day we're recording this on Pi Day is the last day it's open. So if you return to the parks, it may not be open anymore. And I think actually by the time that we record this, Indiana Jones may be open again. Or by the time this episode releases, it's going to be open again. Because it was just a few days that was closing.
Yeah, according to some articles I'm reading, Pirates will be back May 28th. Take that with a grain of salt, but
Okay.
that is I've read a couple articles saying May 28th or summer 2022 as the return date.
Well, hopefully they don't run into any issues like they have with like It's a Small World and, World of Color or anything like that.
World of Color.
Anything big. But yeah, hoping it comes back. Mirabel is now in Frontierland.
Yeah.
That's a great addition. Wasn't she part of DCA as part of the Festival of Holidays, or what was she a part of recently?
I think she was part of part of the Festival of Holidays.
It was, right?
Yeah.
So are we, is she going to be a permanent addition now to Frontierland? Because it looks like the area that she's in is right next to Big Thunder, and it's the area where we commonly see Miguel as part of that meet and greet.
I mean, it'd be great if she's there. I mean, I love it. They usually don't use that space much, only for like Three Kings. Is it Three Kings, Jay? Three Kings, Jay?
I know they use it for Dia de los Muertos.
Oh, yes. See, I am that tired. Wow.
Yeah. Like skeleton guys hanging out there. Yeah.
Everyone's
Three Kings
yelling
is
at me.
over at DCA. They have that at DCA is the Three Kings, I'm pretty sure.
There you go. Yes, you're right. You're right. But it's great that they have her there. I mean, why not? I mean, Encanto's like on top of the world right now, so it'd be great.
Mirabel gave Miguel a boot, I guess, took over his spot.
He'll be back, I'm sure.
Look,
I'm sure, but it's there's only so much space in what they deem as a like appropriate setting for these characters. So Mirabel could go in Fantasyland, but it makes more sense because of where the films take place, that Frontierland is the West in general area wise. So this takes place in the West ish. So we'll put Mirabel there. Yeah. The Western Hemisphere.
I was gonna say it's more like Western Hemisphere.
Western Hemisphere. That's
pretty
West-ish.
damn broad.
It's not East.
Yeah, you're right. They really don't have a lot of spaces where
the West
they can
Coast
do
of
that.
America.
Yeah. I mean, where do you?
In general,
I don't know. It feels like in DCA she fits a little bit more. I hate to say it, but it just feels like it's a better fit where she was in DCA. But obviously, as they move through the different holidays, and when we went into Lunar New Year, obviously that celebration did change a lot of the stuff that was happening in DCA. Maybe they do need another area where these characters can just permanently be a part of. They just don't exist, and so they just kind of put them where there's low traffic in order to try to get more people into that area. Will we see Miguel? Probably. They'll probably be on a cycle where you see Miguel for a couple of hours, you see Mirabel for a couple of hours. Too bad they're not part of the same Pixar universe or Disney animation, because what if Miguel played a guitar for Mirabel and then they kind of did magic together? I don't know. That'd be super fun, because if they did like a meet and greet with a sing-along with Mirabel, how cool would it be to engage people and get people to see a show where she's just kind of singing about her family and they add a couple of magical elements behind her?
That would be awesome. I mean, again, more representation.
Yeah.
So why not? I mean, I think it'll work.
Yeah.
I think it'll totally work.
Yeah.
It'll be cute.
Yeah.
they do really need just character the character warehouse or something, like just a meet and greet area that puts that characters that don't fit in nicely into the designated lands that exist or the properties. Like, okay, you have the Princess Fantasy Fair, but most characters aren't princesses, so you can only put so many characters in there. And then, Mickey has Mickey's house, but there's just like, Character Warehouse is a bad name, but the idea of just like, this is a spot where it's like Princess Fantasy Fair, where it's like, here's 6 different rooms or whatever, and there's just a rotating cast of characters. Sometimes you get Mirabel, sometimes you get like I don't know, the guy like the Sheriff of Nottingham, or you get like Prince John, or Miguel or Sully or whatever, where anybody can show up, and it's just
very comparable to Tomorrowland to what used to be Innovations building, right? It's something where they did where they had the Innovations, Innovations, where they had like the Avengers, they had Star Wars in there, where they had their like own room, something like that, right?
No, just like, well, it's like you have like, or maybe you just have like the Pixar room, and then you have the Disney room, and then you have the Star Wars room, and you have the Marvel room.
I saw Mel's eyes, and I think Mel and I just had the same idea.
Go ahead.
Coming to stage 17, right there.
Yep.
Use that building. That building is underutilized. And here you go. They could do all these things. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Because you don't see everybody and whatnot. And yeah.
Well, it's like, remember the
Big Thunder Ranch?
Big Thunder Ranch. They would have rotating characters for like holidays or whatever. That's where the only time I ever got to meet Roger Rabbit was back there. And it's, just characters like that. There doesn't have to be like a, story along with everything. Sometimes it's just like, here's friggin' Winnie the Pooh. I don't know, like,
oh, wow. Hey kids, come on, we gotta go to that.
I gotta go see friggin' Winnie the Pooh. You wanted to see Winnie the Pooh.
I kind of dig that idea, though, just having, especially in a location as large as Stage 19. I don't know if they would ever use it for that, because right now it's they're using it for merchandise.
It's
right?
the store, right? It's the Avengers campus.
I mean,
store.
we have Stage 17 and we have Stage 19. Stage 17 is the Avengers store.
Okay.
And Stage 19 is the old
That's the one behind
cafeteria.
Monsters, right?
That's the one.
So there's the one to the left of Monsters and the one to the right of Monsters. The one to the left of Monsters is the Avengers store. The one to the right of Monsters was like the cafeteria that had like Pizza Ooh Mau Mau and
Tron.
Well, yeah,
Arcade.
Flynn's
Arcade,
Arcade.
yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
The best.
Thank you, Larry.
rendition.
Either way,
That
I
was-
feel like one of them could be repurposed.
Oh,
sure.
What's funny is those restaurant storefronts are still in, at least as of last time I knew, those restaurant like fronts are still in there, just blocked by walls. So if you walked into like Flynn's Arcade with the lights on, you'd see like the
Through the
ice
cracks.
cream shop and like they'd be like above the walls because
be
the
above
walls
it.
didn't go all the way up.
Yeah, I didn't go all the way to the top. No, you're right.
But yeah,
True.
and they could do just something like you do video screens for the backgrounds or projections or
Yeah.
whatever, where it's like, okay, Winnie the Pooh comes out, here's the 100 Acre Woods come out. Okay, here comes I get bad at thinking of character names. Like here's Chanticleer. I don't know, that's bad.
This is sounding more like
here's
a
Robin
better-
Hood. Here you go. Here's Robin Hood, and
Yeah.
the Sherwood Forest comes out. Just change the screen as here's Mike and Sully, and here's there's Monstropolis. Here's Iron Man. Here's whatever, and it's just you have 4 different rooms.
Animation building. That's what they're gonna have to do. They'd have to renovate
But it's
that
so.
building.
But the problem is there's not enough space in there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about
There's-
like gutting it out and changing
Oh.
each one of those sections to.
Well, I
making
think
it
those are some fighting words, Larry.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know,
not for
folks.
me, but there's some
I
fighting
know,
words
but
there.
I trust me. I understand. I treasure that spot for certain personal reasons. So.
Oh,
but
we
I-
know. Yes.
but I would say if you wanted something like that, that's the definite setup.
Yeah, you
animation
get rid of that. You go down that little ramp and you just got all that stuff down there. The beast thing, and then there's
Yeah.
already a frozen meat and greet over there, or
Well,
was. I don't
Yeah,
know
right.
now, but
There you go.
Wasn't like Ursula's grotto or
Grotto?
something?
that's
That's what
That's
got
where
blocked
there's
out where
a-
Elsa and Anna now change, right? That's like dressing
Yep.
rooms and backstage.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
So there's plenty of space to do. I mean, but why not use a space that's nothing right now.
Yeah.
The stage 19, it's a restaurant, an ailing restaurant that's former restaurant that's nothing. Put some in there.
With you.
Oh,
Meet
man.
and greet.
So many ideas.
Winnie the Pooh.
So many good ideas. Well, if you, next time that you're in Frontierland and you see Mirabel, hopefully she's singing about her family and, you get to see a cool show. As far as I know, it's just a meet and greet right now. But it has so much potential to be so much more. Do some cool stuff in the background where the stage begins to look like casita and it's just kind of moving around and everything. It's all kind of timed so that while she's singing, it all works.
Drones.
I think it would be cool. It would be a really cool addition. Speaking of animated characters, I hope you all had an opportunity to watch Turning Red this weekend. It was a film that we were anticipating, quite frankly, because when we were watching the trailers, my boys were getting such a huge kick out of Maylin changing into this giant red panda. Fridays are usually family movie night. We order some pizza or something. We sit around and watch TV and stuff. So that was the film that we saw. And I have to tell you, I loved it. It's really interesting because, Pixar films tend to have these lessons that they teach you. Regardless what the film is, there's always a lesson about growing up, about appreciating the moment, about appreciating who you're with, all sorts of stuff, right? But the last several films have felt like, or the last couple at least, felt like they were more directed at adults. And it felt like they were directed at adults in a way where they were trying to teach adults that what you learned is not always true. It's not always right. You should always kind of be in the moment, That's really the feeling I got from Soul especially. And this particular film, I don't know how all of you felt, but Inside Out when it came out, talked a lot about Riley's emotions. And, it was talking about how there was all these things going on. And I feel like Inside Out plays really closely to Turning Red.
Okay.
I think they're very similar in how it shows how a teenager is kind of becoming an adult, right? In this case, both Riley and Maylin were turning into women. However, this one takes it a step further because this film not only talks about all of those changes, and it kind of goes like into this weird Encanto territory, right? Where we explore the toxic relationships that you can have with the elders of your family. This kind of had the same tone at times as she's becoming a woman, the different emotions that go along with it. I think they do a really good job of balancing the friendships, how your friends stick by you, how you kind of become defiant almost when you get into your teenage years. You want to be your own person. You want to stop being, the child that you were once seen as. There was these comments on Twitter that were criticizing the film for, I forgot the author's name, and I'm actually kind of glad that I forgot it, but there was one specific author that was just all over the film saying, I didn't see myself in this film, and, I can't appreciate it. And, I had some colorful words that came out of my mouth when I read that I'm not going to repeat on the podcast, but basically it came down to, this movie is not about you. Regardless of whether or not you see yourself, you should, because everybody goes through these changes. They don't go through them specifically the way that girls turn into women, but everybody has these emotions, especially when they're in their teenage years. You all go through these hormonal changes and stuff, and it makes you go crazy sometimes. You feel weird, you act weird, you sound weird. Like, it's part of life, right? And the fact that Pixar took it to that next level and said, you know what? We're going to talk about becoming an adult and those awkward teenage years. I applaud them for doing this because, there's not a lot of kids that get an opportunity to really talk to people about the things that they go through. and how they feel and how they can feel like they're alone in times like this. And so for someone like Pixar to kind of bring it to light and for them to do it in such a way where they show that it's okay to talk to other people and that it's okay to go through some of these things, but you have to learn to deal with them. Man, that is a win.
Yeah, totally is. And I love what Pixar's doing. And I think people may have forgotten how the Spark short started. And they had super strong messages. I'm going to have to bring up Kitbull. Kitbull was the hardest one because it's just that raw message. And it's explained. And we kind of got a glimpse of all of that. I'm excited to watch this movie. I haven't seen it, but I'm excited because I will say I did not see myself as a princess in the princess films. So yeah, no. This is beautiful what's happening. There was no film. There was no cartoons, nothing to show. I wish there was something like this. I should have just said that. I wish there was something like this to be like, this is exactly what a girl goes through. Every single thing you've mentioned, yeah, we do. So what? It's part of life. And I wish I could have seen it on TV or something be like, that's it. That's amazing. We're getting to see all these things come up, all these messages, and it's going to the fifth key. It's inclusion. We're seeing that. I've heard really good things about it. I mean, from friends who just, they were just like, wow, I saw myself. They thought it was hilarious. Just the little cute moments, the little quirks, things like that, little stuff. So I'm really excited. I got to see it this week, one way or another. I got to sit down and be like, I need to watch this and just put an alarm or something. But I'm really looking forward to this film, and I want to see what they've said, and it's just cool stuff to see. Not everything is just puppies.
Yeah.
And rainbows. There's things. There's life lessons.
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't puppies and rainbows, but there were these moments in the film that make you think like they were. Like there is that like that googly-eyed like moment that people go through certain times in their life that will remind you of that, right? So I don't know, the biggest thing about this was that the story was centered around a Chinese Canadian family, and I get it. Like there was this thing on Twitter that made me laugh because I should have saved the tweet or something, but it was something like, I couldn't enjoy this because I didn't see myself in this film. And then people started throwing out every other Pixar film. They're like, well, I couldn't associate with being a fish, so Finding Nemo is blah, blah, blah. I couldn't associate with being a monster, so if Monsters, Inc. was blah, blah, blah. And so they went down like every single film, and I was laughing reading that because it's true.
It
right?
is.
Like, just because you don't see you specifically doesn't mean that you can't see a bit of yourself in what they're going through, because this is something that naturally happens to everybody, right? And it happens differently to other people, but we all go through it. And so the fact that Pixar was brave enough to put this out,
yeah,
this is
Kudos.
awesome.
Yeah, it just reminded me of being in school, like being in middle school. Like it's that they got middle school like figured out, like the feeling of like, oh, I remember when something similar to that would happen, or these kids are doing this thing, or your group of friends or whatever. Like it doesn't have to be this specific thing. It's just like the feeling you get from a group of friends, or those other kids in class or whatever, and having to deal with your parents or whatever when you're in middle school, and in that just growing up period. So that was that was my big takeaway. It's like that's what like hit home and connected with me, was just like the feeling of that school environment and growing up and stuff like that. But I did see that what makes this film different than any other Pixar film is this is the first one with a all-female led creative team, leadership
that
team.
too.
And there's like a making of or something on Disney Plus as well about the team that did this. I haven't watched it yet, but you would think this could have happened a long time ago, but we're just getting to it now. But at least it's happening, and you can really see the care and everything that was put into this film. It's just a good film.
It's just so close to real life, and I think that's part of what bugs people.
Yeah.
That although a lot of the other Pixar films deal with real lifestyle events, this one deals with life events in a way that we've never really seen in a Pixar or Disney animated film before. It breaks a lot of the cycles of, like you said, about the princess trope and everything being unicorns and rainbows and puppies and stuff all the time, right? And it's not the case. Like, we live in the real world and we deal with real life issues. And like you said, Mel, the Spark shorts, I think, were the first step into being able to portray real life in animation like that, especially when it comes to Pixar and for Disney to put something out like this. And that is one of the biggest reasons why the representation in this film matters so much. And honestly, it kind of sucks in general that they put this on Disney Plus and that it didn't get a full release. But I hope that eventually it does, because more people need to see this. It deserves a release at a movie theater. It's a really good film. It's a really good story. It's really entertaining. Andrew, you nailed it when you said that it just reminds you of junior high. The situations that they're in just remind you about those. The interactions with the adults remind you of interactions you may have had with adults at that age. It feels real, and that's the thing. I know that you go to movies to escape and that you want, some like cool adventure to be on and stuff like that, but not every film is like that. You want to be able...
I mean, look at not every film that you got like a Citizen Kane and like stuff like that. It's not every movie is just a fun time.
Yeah.
But this movie was a fun time that also hit on serious things that kids should be learning about. Adults probably need to know some of this stuff too.
Yeah.
Like be your own person and etc.
Yeah. Definitely another great hit. In the list of Pixar movies, again, everyone always hits the feels in a different way, from that separation that you feel, from Toy Story from the very beginning to their latest films, like I said, like Inside Out, dealing with all those emotions and, what goes through your head, to Soul and dealing with the right now and enjoying what you have, to this, dealing with real life things. Yeah, I don't know what more to say other than this was great. If you haven't seen it, give it a watch. I hope it gets a theatrical release.
Yeah.
Anything else before we wrap up today's episode?
I think we've covered a lot. I think this is a good episode, good run time for an episode, over an hour. I like long podcasts. That's just me personally, so I like it when we go long. It's fun.
Yeah, me too.
It just means we get to hang out longer.
It's true. It's very true. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up. We'd love to hear your thoughts on anything that we talked about in this episode. You can either join the conversation over on Instagram, Facebook. You can hit us up on Twitter. But we'd love for you to join us over on Discord. If you haven't joined yet, it's super easy to join. Check out our Instagram account. There is a pinned story with a link to our Discord. Click on it, and you'll be just a couple of clicks or taps away from joining our Discord server. We'd love to have you there. Join the community. And share your thoughts on how you feel about this. Share your thoughts on Turning Red if you've had an opportunity to see it. I want it to be as spoiler-free as possible because I know Mel and Larry haven't seen it yet, and I have been notorious this last month and a half-ish for spoiling stuff because I get so damn excited about it. So, yeah. Try to be as spoiler free as possible, and then we'll catch up. But yeah, We'd love to hear your thoughts. March Mayhem, obviously still going on for the next couple of weeks. By the time this episode releases, we'll be about halfway done with week 2. Hopefully you are voting daily in our Instagram stories. We're super excited. Popcorn all the way, baby. Popcorn. You guys are all sticking with churro?
I don't know. It's
Churro?
churro. Come on, it's churro. Come on, man, it's churro.
But Dole Whip.
But people listen to me.
But Ronto rap, right, Larry?
Yeah, but Ronto.
Never know. You never know.
That's the sleeper.
Dude, I swear I'm not gonna even say it. I'm not gonna put it out in the world. That's it. We're ending the
Churro
episode
versus
right there.
Ronto rap.
We're wrapping it up. That's it. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep moving forward, and always remember to pass on the magic. Have a fantastic week, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Come on. Come on.
Part of the Podketeers Network.